Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kimbae. For today's video, I am going to be talking about my favorite dating app. I think this video will be helpful to give you guys a little bit of knowledge since I have been on these apps for over a year now. I am planning on taking them off. I am planning on getting off them though, no lie. But I did used to do a segment on my channel that was called reading, like, I used to read like the messages, the ridiculous messages I used to get on my dating apps, and I kind of really miss doing that, so I probably will start doing that again. Before I do want to talk to you guys about the ones that I do love, the ones that I think are efficient, the ones that I think are helpful in finding love. So the first dating app that I'm going to be talking about is Bumble. Bumble I like because there are very handsome and very, you know, interesting men on there. I feel like the men on Bumble are usually more respectful than something like maybe Tinder, because it is, you know, geared towards more finding actual, like, it is geared towards finding a relationship and not a hookup, if that makes sense. Bumble is where you would have to write to the person first as a woman. The woman makes the first move, which I think is very bold, but also kind of great because it kind of cuts the crap where it's like, oh, I'm gonna like you, but you won't write to me and I won't ever write to you. It's like, no. If you do match with someone, they give you 24 hours in order to reach out to this person and actually have a conversation. If you don't reach out to them in 24 hours, it actually expires. If you don't have Bumble Premium, you won't be able to renew that, like, so they're pretty much gone forever, which sucks. So it gives you more motivation to actually write to them, and I've actually met more people on Bumble than any other dating site. Another pro about Bumble is that people actually have to have the chance to verify their profile. So if you're on there and you're not sure if you're being catfished or anything, Bumble has a really great tool in order to avoid that. Now I want to talk about some cons with Bumble. One of them being is also the 24-hour time frame. I feel like sometimes it's really hard to be able to write to someone within 24 hours because you probably have your notifications off and you probably won't know that somebody liked you until it's too late and you just see their blurred image on the top, which sucks because I've even missed some connections that I've wanted to reach out to, or I'll be like, oh, I'll do it later, you know, when I have time, and then they're completely gone and I'm not paying premium in order to get them. So that's one of the cons. And the other con is that sometimes there are some immature men out there that they pretty much get it in their heads that, oh, these women are writing to them, and you know, the ego, it's like an ego boost for them. And it's like, I can understand that, but that's also a downside from Bumble. It's like, if you're out there, you don't want no BS, and you're trying to look for love and you run into these knuckleheads, it's pretty hard. But other than that, Bumble is definitely one of my favorite dating apps, and if you guys haven't tried it out, I really recommend that you do. The second dating app I want to talk about is OkCupid. One of the main reasons why I like OkCupid is because people can't write to you unless you like them. So it helps you avoid your inboxes getting freaking blown up with all of these spam messages that you're probably not going to respond to ever, or avoiding people that you're not genuinely interested in. I also like the fact that people can verify their profiles. You can go on OkCupid and pretty much verify that the picture is you. Another thing I like about Bumble is that you can answer certain questions and you can see your compatibility with other people. So generally I write to people who are 90% or above compatible with me. You can see their answers to those questions once you've answered them yourself, and some of those things are important questions. Like they ask about politics, they ask about drug use, they ask about all of that stuff. So being able to know about those kind of things ahead of time is actually one of the things that make OkCupid absolutely amazing. Obviously people can still lie and stuff like that, but it gives you more of a sense of who you're dealing with because of how compatible you guys are. Obviously you're not going to want to date someone who you're 15% compatible with, or your answers are completely opposite from the other person. It is a little bit time consuming to fill out that survey, but I think it helps you in the long run. One of the cons about OkCupid is the fact that you're probably going to miss out on a lot of matches if you're not constantly liking people and constantly on there browsing through people. I found that I probably get the less messages on OkCupid compared to all of my other dating apps because I'm not constantly checking for who's on there. I'm not constantly scrolling and liking people. OkCupid is very detailed, so there is a lot of stuff that you have to fill out, which can be a con. But honestly, the app that has the least cons is definitely OkCupid. I find that OkCupid is probably the easiest to use. It's probably one of the quickest ones that you'll find a date with. If you're on there constantly and you're serious about finding a match, I think you will find someone that's more compatible with you a lot easier than any of the other dating apps that I'm going to talk about. Last but not least is Badoo. I want to talk about Badoo. Badoo. Badoo is actually one of my favorite dating apps because I find it so easy to just talk to people. People are constantly writing to me. That's one of the things that can be a pro or a con about Badoo, is that you don't have to wait till people like you in order to have a conversation with them. I like that you can see who views your profile if they have that option available. So if you find someone that you're interested in and they viewed your profile, you can go ahead and either like them or you can even message them if you find them interesting. Badoo to me is basically a social media account in a way, because you can go on live on Badoo. You can get voice notes on Badoo, memes, all of that stuff. I find that there's a lot more to do than just chat with people. Like, going live or watching people go live is probably in your interest. You might want to check that out. I personally don't like to go on live. It's pretty much like, you know, those chat rooms where people go on. I don't find that interesting, but maybe you do. So that's a plus if you guys like that. One of the cons is actually one of the pros, which is where anybody can just write to you. So your inbox does get filled up. You can, I think it pretty much goes against what your preferences are, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I've had people write to me that live way further than the distance that I set for myself, so I think that anybody can write to you, if I'm not mistaken, but you can filter through those messages. But it is a con, because I'm not saying I'm a pretty girl by any means, although I did gain that self-confidence enough to say I am, but you know, those messages are so overwhelming. I remember one time I signed on and I had like 50 messages, no lie, come in like the hour that I was on. So that's a lot of messages, and if you're someone who looks, you know, bang bang bang, just expect that to happen. It also gives you notifications for everything. So it gives you notifications for people who are viewing your profile, for when someone likes you, for when someone sends you a message. So all of those notifications can be a lot. Besides like the 50 messages you're gonna get, you're also gonna get all these other notifications. So I kind of hate that, so I do turn off my notifications. It's also a plus, because at least if you're someone who's really actively looking for someone, it makes it a little bit easier. But for me personally, I don't like all of those notifications. One of the things that I discovered that I absolutely despise about Badoo is that people can video chat you at any time. So even if you're not signed in, if you're not online, people can still call you and it will come out like a regular phone call. It'll say Badoo at the bottom, but sometimes people answer their stuff without really checking, which did happen to me. I had it in my headphones on, and I clicked on the call, and like I heard someone like breathing really heavily, and I'm like, what the hell? So I look at my phone and I'm like, whoa, it's video chat. Like, someone really video chat me in like the middle of the day, which gets freaking annoying because it also shows up on your call log, like your regular call log. And I just feel like that was something that I wish that they can turn off. That's a huge con in my book. Maybe you guys like that feature, but I hate it, because if I'm doing my regular duties, or if, you know, I don't really want people to know that I'm on dating sites. I don't want people to just call me randomly. I think that's so annoying. But yeah, definitely those are the top 3 dating sites that I think are great, and you guys should definitely check out. If you guys want the ones that I think are the worst, please like and subscribe to this channel, because I will be doing that video pretty soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in my next one. Bye.